Hello friends, my name is Katja and you are welcome to my channel. I filmed this video last summer, but I lost the edited version when my hard drive crashed. Now I finally re-edited my video and you can see how I made my Edwardian-inspired summer dress. My dress is based on the Sedavi dress pattern by Pauline Alice. It's a PDF pattern and I'll link the pattern down below for you. Do go and check it out. I love this design as the pleats remind me of Edwardian summer dresses, but the dress is otherwise modern in construction with an invisible zipper at the back and an elasticated waist. Made out of linen, it is perfect for hot summer days. The first thing to do after assembling the pattern is to choose the right size and to make any fitting adjustments. I could make a mock-up, but then I would probably waste time for making different sizes due to the pleats being at different places in different sizes. I, however, have a shortcut that I use a lot. Some years ago I made a full dress sloper that fitted perfectly. With the help of the sloper, I can do all the adjustments on paper without having to make a mock-up. So here are the slopers. Note that the slopers don't have seam allowances, but the pattern pieces do, so the pattern pieces are supposed to be bigger. I have already made the adjustments to the pattern, but I can explain now what I did. Let's start with the size. The size chart tells me to choose the size 40. However, I know that my shoulders are narrow, so the size 40 may be too wide. Let's fold up the pleats on the bodice and see. I should have lowered the bodice a bit as I forgot here that the pattern has seam allowances, but you can see that the size 40 is about 2 cm too wide. I went down a size and the size 38 was much better. The first thing to correct was the shoulder slope. I said I have narrow shoulders, and I do, but my shoulders are straighter than the average, which causes small fitting problems. Without this adjustment, I'd be getting diagonal wrinkles from my center bust to the shoulders. I have already corrected the shoulder slope, but let's look at the difference. I align the shoulder seams for the pattern and then place the sloper on the top. You can see that the shoulders match. However, let's align the original shoulder seams for the size 38. I align the center front and back and the neckline edges, but you can see how the front and back of my sloper overlap at the shoulder. My shoulders need this much more room. So, what I did was to tape a strip of paper underneath my pattern pieces and added more room, about 15 mm on each side. Now you can see that the adjusted pattern matches pretty well with the sloper when you take into account that the pattern has 15 mm seam allowances. Because I made changes to the shoulders, my armhole is now bigger. In order to keep all the puffiness of the upper sleeve, I added width to the sleeves as well. I split the sleeve lengthwise in half and taped a piece of paper underneath to make the sleeve a bit wider at the shoulder. Now, let's mark those pleats to the bodice. I use a magic marker that disappears by itself or with water so I don't leave any marks. Then I can sew the shoulder seams and the pleats. I'm afraid I forgot to film that, so let's jump to the side seams. As you may see, I'm making French seams here, so I sew the seam very close to the edge with the wrong sides together. Then I trim away the excess fabric, then I stitch about 7 mm from the first seam, now with the right sides together. Here I'm adding strips of interfacing to support the center back edge where the invisible zipper is sewn on. Now everyone loves big pockets and I have learned to love large Victorian pockets. Luckily, nothing prevents me from adding those to this dress. I didn't use any pattern. Usually I just think about the objects I want to carry and draw the pattern big enough to fit all of them. Now let's jump to the skirt. I have already sewn the side seams, but I left openings to attach the pockets later. Now I can pin the pockets on. I can sew the long edges with a machine, but I prefer to finish the ends by hand, as it is so easy to get some fabric caught in between if you are trying to manipulate the tiny corners and seam allowances. Finally, it takes a longer time to unpick than to sew everything by hand in the first place. Now I'm doing some final fitting to the bodice. I had cut the armhole a bit smaller than needed just to be able to do adjustments at this stage. Then we can fasten the skirt to the bodice. The invisible zipper goes on. I'm using a special invisible zipper foot that has grooves at the bottom. This allows me to stitch right next to the zipper teeth, and this makes the invisible zipper truly invisible. Here I'm adding elastic to the sleeves to make a nice ruffle. Another elastic is sewn to the waist. The ruffle is constructed of several pieces that need to be sewn together. The neckline is finished with a strip of bias tape. Before adding the ruffle, I'm evening out the hem. This would be easier if I wore the dress and somebody else marked the hem, but the dress form is an alternative if one is forced to do this alone. Then I just sewed on the ruffle. The dress was ready, but was needing something extra. I decided to add a little bit of embroidery. I found this apple flower embroidery pattern on an old Finnish sewing magazine and decided to use it to decorate the bodice. This dress was a wonderful item to take on our holiday on Crete. So enjoy some Mediterranean views at the end. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to my channel. You can also thank me by buying me a coffee through the link below. See you soon on another video. Bye!